Welcome back to Unjaded. Today I'm speaking with Kelly Hughes. Kelly hails from Australia. She's a manifesting generator and she's fairly new to her business. Her background is in corporate, but now she's a mom of two young boys. She has discovered human design. She's done an incredible amount of healing work, and she's here to share with us what she has learned on her journey about using her human design, especially in her business and her parenting, and also to talk a little bit about the content by design experience that she went through. She's going to talk about how she now knows how to set up things in her business, or what to set up in her business that will actually move the needle forward. Because so many times as entrepreneurs, we get bogged down in the minutia and we focus on the wrong things. So what Kelly and I are talking about is really what needs to happen to move your business forward, and how can you let all of the rest of that go. Enjoy the interview. Welcome, Kelly. I'm so pleased to have you here. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for having me. Exciting.
And you are tuning in from Australia this evening for you, this morning for me.
Evening, yeah. So this evening from Perth, Western Australia. So I think we're on a 12-hour time difference.
Crazy.
To you guys. So yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about your business? Who is it that you work with and what is it that you do?
Yes. So I started my business this year actually. And I blend human design with the inner healing work to really support women to work through a lot of their traumas, their wounding, their limiting beliefs, as well as obviously the human design, which is the self-discovery part. And I feel like those two together just really help people to heal and to really become, who they are at their core and, their soul. So that's basically who I help. And going through obviously content by design. I know you're probably going to get to this, but it's really, I'm really passionate to help women that have suffered with lots of stress, overwhelm, anxiety, and they're on a bit of a hamster wheel. And, from the outside looking in, everything is great. They have, amazing lives, great families, a good job. They're just absolutely smashing it. But inside, they're really struggling, Everything feels hard, overwhelming. They just don't have deep connections with their partners, with their children. And deep down, they really do crave that. And I'm really passionate because this was once me. And I've been able to really overcome that, heal from within and just really get to know myself on a deep level. And, the two things that have really helped me is human design and the deep inner healing work, the emotional healing work.
And you have a passion as well for moms because your own story with finding human design really changed your relationship with your children, right?
100%. 100%.
Talking about that?
Yeah, there's just so much acceptance. I feel like, when you become a mother, it really does obviously change you. It's a whole new world, a whole new level of adulting and, being in the challenging times and, really in the depths of it. And it can be really confusing, especially as women when we're often navigating our own journeys at the same time. We kind of hit this age, like late 20s, 30s, mid 30s, whatever age it is for you. And we go on this like journey of self-discovery, like, who am I? You've had these children and you just feel a bit lost because you've been so consumed in raising these little people. So that in itself is a challenge. And then, of course, you have your children who they are their own beings, they have their own unique way of being, their own energy and everything else. So just actually understanding how different they are and how you can really tweak your parenting to suit them has been an absolute game changer for me. And me being a manifesting generator, having to overcome so much of like the shame almost of when I was younger and then wanting to change my mind and I was into different things and my mum paying for things and then I didn't want to do the thing, and having a manifesting generator son has just really opened my eyes to that. And I can understand him so deeply. Have two generator type boys. So it's been just so profound, honestly, learning about them and their energy and how, they interact with others and just everything. It's just been magical.
So I'm glad that you said you're manifesting generator because I realized I forgot to introduce your design as well. So can you tell our listeners, profile type, authority?
Yes. So I am an emotional manifesting generator, and my profile is a 1-3.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the emotional piece, I think, I know for me, it's been huge to understand. And I think for you, you've had a real journey with your emotional authority as well, correct?
Yes, definitely. And I sort of started my healing journey before I found human design. And even on that journey, I'd worked with different healers and coaches, and there was just still something missing, like a missing piece of the puzzle, I like to say. And it really was this missing information about myself that I always kind of shamed and thought was wrong. And this, a part of me and my emotional wave. And I have really, low lows and high highs. It can be quite intense. And for a long time, I just thought, well, there's something wrong with me, like, why do I feel like this? And yeah, just understanding that and accepting that about myself has just been so, so healing, just to know that, not to do anything with it, but to just know that, and then learn to really just be with my wave, the highs and the lows, and then learning about when I make decisions, about not being in the high or the low, and just everything about it. And I think that was probably one of the reasons, or one of the things that attracted me to you, a fellow, manifesting generator, emotional. Like, I love to kind of see how other people like navigate their wave and navigate just being an MG, because I do feel like we are sort of like the rare ones, almost like just feel a bit different. And I know we all feel different, but MGs, we're just a little bit here, there, and everywhere.
Unhinged.
So
Yeah.
it's just nice to be with other people that just get that, and just
Yeah.
understand that.
I do know. I do know. And so many times I feel like people have either they've lived their whole lives as Manny Gens and they're not Manny Gens, or they wish they could be a Manny Gen because they think that we have boundless energy and that nothing ever goes wrong for us. Well, you're a third line MG, so I know that things go wrong in your life. But I feel like that's why I love 3-5 profiles so much, because I feel like the conditioning of manifesting generators and 3-5s is very similar in that we mess up from time to
Mhm.
time, sometimes a lot. And like you
Lot.
said, with parenting, when we were growing up, we tried different things, and that's always frowned on even in our businesses. When we try different things, it's like, oh my God, are you doing that again? Have
Yeah.
you had some of that conditioning in your business?
Oh, a lot. But I really feel like just the awareness of it, and just being around people, in the human design space, and just people that understand it, I know you always say like business is a third line, but when you
Yes.
are a third line, it's like even more permission to just kind of try things, really.
Yeah.
And understand that that is really how, as a third line, you do make progress, is you just have to do the thing, and you almost have to, sort of mess it up. Not that we do mess it up, but there's always a lesson or a blessing or something that you learn from that. And that is like, when you actually understand that and accept that and embrace that, that can be really magical, I think, in your business, because then there can be fear sometimes to not do things, but if you lean in and do the thing, even pushing through that fear and that resistance, I think that's where, the magic happens and the momentum comes, and that's where you really start to see progress, in my experience anyway.
Definitely. And can you remind me who you speak to in your content? Ideally, who you're speaking
One
to?
threes.
Three. I was
One,
thinking so.
mainly one lines, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
One
thinking there
three.
was a 3 in there as well, a 3
Yeah.
component as well. So that's fun
Yeah.
because we know we have to understand that for some of us, your human design tells you who exactly you are speaking to, who are the people that are here to build your dream with. And it's helpful to know that. So if you're speaking to third lines, you really got to highlight the fact that you feel ashamed of these things and that you've made all these mistakes and all that stuff. They don't want us to show up as perfect. Nobody wants us to show up as perfect. But that's just kind of a fun piece of content by design all the time, I find.
Yes, definitely. No, that was fun learning that.
Yeah. So, can you talk me through why you chose to participate in content by design as a human design practitioner?
I found you, I think, on Instagram, or I can't remember where, but I just started listening to your podcast, and your content obviously spoke directly to me with all of my challenges. So, that was obviously something that drew me in. But I, again, like all of these kind of big decisions that I make when it comes to mentorship courses, it's almost like a feeling that you get, you get that. I don't really know how to explain it, but you just get that feeling. And then for me, obviously, as emotional, I just had to work through it. But I just knew that my next investment of support had to be human design. It had to be related to human designs, because this year has been a huge growth for me, like starting my business. I mean, nearly 2 years into my human design experiment. And I was kind of like spinning my wheels a little bit this year, like starting my business, comparing myself a little bit to other people, kind of looking outside, what are other people doing? And then I just had this like light bulb moment. What am I doing? I've been using human design in all areas of my life, myself, my healing journey, parenting, like we just discussed. And I'm not leveraging it enough or as much as I could in my business. So even just the way that I was operating in my business, I knew that something had to shift there. And then also in my messaging, I've seen so much progress in my life with human design. Why wouldn't I incorporate it in my business? Like that's just a no-brainer. So yeah, it really was a no-brainer. And of course, I did feel through it and I just felt, yeah, this is the right time for me. And also with my design, I do absorb and take in information better when I'm around other people. And that's been a really kind of hard learning this year. I was in the corporate world, so I was used to having people around me. I'd be in meetings and I would, if I was doing a piece of work, conversations, it would spark this, it would just kind of get me going and get the energy flowing. Whereas I'm in my own business, I'm sitting in my office, I'm by myself. So there was no energy to kind of bounce off. And that's another reason why I joined, because I wanted to be in the room with other, like-minded individuals on a similar path. It's that collaborative energy. And yeah, I wanted a bit of accountability as well. So I know I need to do things in my business to move the needle forward. And what better way than investing in, a journey like this where it's human design informed. It's not just, I guess, about human design and content. There's so many other things. Business, all the advice that you presented to us was just amazing. But it really was the whole experience. And it's a bit of a kind of like, it reminded me of a bit of like a business sprint. If I think back to my corporate days, like we would have a piece of work and it's like, okay, it's really intentional, aligned action. This is what you're going to do. And I was just really here for it and I was just ready for it. Yeah, so it was just all the things really. Human design, business, and just being in a room with others and the accountability, I think, was really the key factors for me.
I love that. And I love that you refer to it as a business sprint, because as you know, all along people are like, it's not a course, it's not a course, it's not a course. And I'm like, well, what is it? And people would say immersion or experience. And I love that you said business sprint, because that's kind of how my energy works, right?
Yeah. It's like it's really, and this is another thing which I really learned from Content by Design. And I also listened to a podcast right in the middle of when we were in the course, and it was this guy, and he was talking about stop focusing on the podium and focus on the pedals. And, it's just like, if you want to actually move your business forward, I was focusing way too much on the podium and I was looking at other people around me and it's like, no, I'm on my own journey. I've got my own gifts to share. I can help people, and just how do I get my business more out there? And it's like, I need to just focus on the pedals and just do the things that actually move that needle forward. And now I have a massive to-do list, but it's good because it's just given me that clarity and that direction that I needed, instead of just being lost. I've just started my business. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm completely three-lining it here, but yeah, it's good to just have that bit of direction to kind of move things forward with the way that they need to go.
Agreed. And I feel like that's something that's missing both in the new business, people just starting their businesses, and in the human design space, where people don't focus on the pedals. I'm going to remember that analogy for the rest of my life, I think, because there's this illusion that if you just follow your design, everything will work itself out. I've not seen that happen yet. We still need to do a certain amount of planning. We still need to have goals in our business. We still need to know the direction that we're going, or we're not going to get there. There's an Irish proverb that I use that says, pray for potatoes with a hoe in your hand. It's like we have to be actively doing the things, right? Thinking about the pedal. So I love that. So you came through Content by Design and you were redoing a lot of things. Like you were working on your website, your lead magnet, I think some blogs, and you were really honoring your family time, because you're kind of opposite schedule to what I'm on in Canada. So you're like, okay, my boys are home. I want to be present with them. How did you navigate motherhood, course, business, all of the things?
Yeah, so I just ticked along in my business with, creating little bits of content. And then I think the timing of content by design was just perfect for me as it kind of ran into the beginning of December. And I had a holiday already booked. My kids had finished school. We went on holiday. So I actually decided to pause on my business for the whole of December. And probably I will do that as well going into January, just so that I can get all of the actionable items that I really want to get done in the back end of my business, which is all the things that I learned in, content by design. I've got so many pieces of content sort of ready to be uploaded to my website, my sales pages, my email list, so many things. And yeah, that was the thing I loved actually, was getting that weekly feedback from you as well about all of the content that I submitted. That was just amazing. So yeah, I fully kind of paused on my business for now whilst I navigate my children being home.
Yep.
And yes, next week when we're in a bit more of a routine, my husband goes back to work, I have, grandparents helping with children and things like that, I'm slowly going to be tipping away at all of my to-do list. And in February, I'll have both of my boys in full-time school. So I will be all hands on deck and yes, doing all the things. But it has been, that in itself has been a huge learning curve for me as well this year, balancing, I think, coming from the corporate world and being so, working from this place of unworthiness. Honestly, it's been, yeah, my whole life to date, really. And this year was a huge unraveling of that and a healing of that, really working on this unworthiness that I've carried with me for so long. And I was always working from that place. So funnily enough, taking a pause and not being so active in business was actually harder for me to do than doing the thing, than actually doing work, if that makes sense, because I'm just so used to doing things because I should be doing them and I should be posting this many times a week and I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And I really had to pause and just say, no, I'm not going to do that because that's from a place of, that unworthiness. And it's like, no, I want to be really intentional in my business and come from a place of flow and from my design, from my energy when I have it, not from that unworthiness. So yeah, this year was a whole healing of that. And again, there were so many things discussed in content by design, which kind of reminded me of that. And especially with, my ideal client, where they will have a lot of unworthiness themselves with that open or undefined ego center, which I've worked so hard to do a lot of healing on mine. So I know that I'm in a really great place to, help and support others. So yes, I don't know where I'm going with this response, Vickie, but yeah, I think it's really important that you do kind of pause as well in business, especially when you're new, to kind of like reassess where you're at, because I could have kept going. I could have kept going out of force and that unworthiness, but that wouldn't have been achieved anything really. So I've kind of paused, being present with my children, and I'm really clear now on what I'm here to do, who I'm here to serve, the message that I'm here to deliver. And I've just got lots of clarity now going into the new year.
Beautiful. That's the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you went there with that, because so many times we do push through, especially as manifesting generators. We have a lot of energy. Typically, we have a lot of energy and we can push like nobody else can push. So I love that you took a pause. And that was something actually that came up over and over and over again throughout the content by design experience. It's come up in business groups that I'm in my mastermind: spaciousness and pause, or I guess pause, then spaciousness. Because when we're doing, and never actually being like, okay, whoa, what do I actually want here? What am I actually going for? And focusing on that 20% that's actually going to move your business forward, instead of on filling your calendar with, like you said, how many times a week am I going to post? Like, none of that really matters that much. It's the big pieces that we need to get in place first that we're going for.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So where can people find you, Kelly, if they want to come into your world, or when they want to
So
come into your world?
yeah, come into my world, people.
Yes.
I blend human design and the inner healing work. So I talk about all the things, I talk a lot about the not self. the shadow parts of human design. And I talk a lot about limiting beliefs, nervous system regulation, like all the things. And yes, you can find me on Instagram. So I'm just underscore Kelly Hughes underscore. I've changed my name back. Standard manager. So yeah, just underscore Kelly Hughes, you'll find me there. And also my website is kellyhughes.com.au.
Awesome.
Currently under construction, but it is still there if you want to go and have a look. But yes, I'm so excited to get stuck in and update all the things.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in February when the boys go back to school and you have the space. And I love that you're, creating these systems now and understanding what actually needs to happen to move your business forward so that you can just kind of out of the gate.
Yeah, I've just got such a clear plan, honestly. And I think, yeah, content by design was just amazing. Not just the human design aspect, but it's just all the business like help really that you gave me. It wasn't just human design and content, it was all the other things which I gained so much. So yeah, it was honestly amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for that. My second line appreciates you. And I always say business is my love language. It's like I can't stop myself. It's just, I don't know, it's in my blood for some reason. So I appreciate you being here. We're going to link up those links for getting into Kelly's world in the show notes for you so that you can go right there and find her. Should be awesome to follow. I do find that you touch sometimes on parenting as well. So if you've got little ones, even if you just want to see how someone is navigating the business landscape with a family, Kelly is a good person to get into her world, I would think.
Yeah, I definitely talk about parenting because I think I do. Yeah, mums come into my world, and I mean, let's be real. If you're a parent, it's a wild ride,
It
and
is
I
hard.
like to share fun things. I'm actually a really fun person. Like, I don't like to take life too seriously. I love to have a laugh. I love to have a giggle, and there will be a bit of a change in my content moving forward as well to reflect that because that's a big part of my personality. Is just not taking life too seriously, honestly. Just having fun along the way, along this messy, wild ride that we call life.
Messy manifesting generator, third line,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well, that could be my new tagline. I like that.
Well, thank you very much for being here and speaking to us this morning, Kelly. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, fitting it in your evening as well. Thank you for doing that for us.
Thanks for having me, Vickie. It's been great.